You've probably heard the story of the little boy that was walking along the seashore throwing starfish back into the ocean that had washed on shore. And a gentleman came up to him and said, "Young man, do you realize there are hundreds, if not thousands, of starfish dying on the seashore? Do you expect to save them all?" Little boy picked up one of the starfish, threw it back in the water, and he said, "Well, I saved that one." So our family has lived in this area since 1989. We've been doing ministry here for 32 years. And we have looked at this region and seen all the potential that has gone untapped. And so we've asked ourselves a question. My wife and I asked ourselves a question. How do you transform a community? So we prayed about that, and my wife Susan and I woke up one morning. It was 2012, January, early in the new year, early in the morning. We looked at each other, believing that we both had the same download from God. We looked at each other with the answer to this question: education. Education. You transform a community by the transformation of young lives, one child at a time. Our church, the Fresh Wind Christian Community, embraced the idea, and New Covenant Christian Academy was born. God put this big red barn in front of us, and we renovated it for both the church and the school. The school opened in 2015 with 13 students. Today, there are 86 students and a waiting list of nearly 40 students. We'd have over 100 students right now in New Covenant if we had the room. We need to have more room. We look at this as an opportunity, not a problem. So I am convinced that there is no other school quite like this. In the morning, if you were to ever join with us at 8 in the morning when the students arrive, we start with the Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag, to the Christian flag, and to the Bible. We say a prayer, and then our administrator, Sue Frost Mays, who has done a wonderful job growing the school, gives us a pep talk and some announcements. Then we all have a song with motions we do together, and we put our hands in together, all the students, all the staff. We go honk, 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 go Eagles. Now, Eagles don't honk, but that's another matter. I look around every morning, and I'm just amazed at what I see. The students, the faculty, the staff, the volunteers gathering together. On Thursdays after the opening ceremony, we have a special chapel service, and then every day it's off to our classrooms. We meet each child where he or she is at. We have small class sizes, 15 or fewer in every class, and we help in those small class sizes each student attain his or her highest academic, spiritual, and character potential. We follow the format of classical Christian education, which embraces the tried and true methods of teaching and learning. Classical Christian education involves the traditional courses you'd find in a lot of schools, plus we have a good dose of music and art, and we also teach Bible. Language development is critical in classical education. So we teach our elementary students Latin, we teach our middle school students Spanish, and we teach our high school students Greek. Furthermore, each level has its own area of focus. For instance, elementary schools focus on grammar, middle school students focus on logic. I didn't have logic till I was in college, and we're teaching it to our middle schoolers, and our high schoolers focus on rhetoric. By the time a student leaves New Covenant Christian Academy, we want them to be critical thinkers. We want them to know who they are in Christ. We want them to know what they believe, why they believe it, and be able to articulate it. In short, we are raising up, training up the future leaders who will transform the community. I think the greatest strength, though, is the atmosphere of our school. People will come into our building who haven't been there before during the school day and take a look around and get a sense of what's happening, and will say, "Pastor Chuck, I had no idea. I had no idea something this amazing and special was going on." If you would join us during the day, you're going to find love and respect. You're going to find a great rapport between students and faculty and volunteers and one another. We have an amazing staff, and honestly, we come together and we love each other, and we love what we're doing. The older kids look after the younger kids. We just had a student council elections, and many of the students gave speeches, including some first graders, and those speeches were incredible. So when you think of private school, You might think of a level of affluence of those attending. But we look at our region and our demographics. We're located in Benzie County. We have students coming from 4 counties. And so we need, in the demographic we're in, to have a tuition that's very affordable. And furthermore, financial assistance is made available to students who desire to come and maybe wouldn't otherwise have the financial means. And we receive no government funding whatsoever. So ultimately, the school functions financially on the generosity of the Christian community and generous people like you who are sowing into financially and prayerfully in the New Covenant Christian Academy. Everything you share financially with our school is helping find and identify and raise up some wonderful young people who are going to be amazing people as they grow into adulthood, who perhaps otherwise couldn't partake and afford a great education like they're receiving at New Covenant. The school is growing. More and more families are seeing the benefit of this form and quality of education. We ultimately see the school growing to around 200 students, though we don't want to limit God if He has something bigger in mind. People ask about athletics. We plan to have amazing athletics, including athletic fields and a regulation-size high school varsity gymnasium, and those are all things in the planning phases. But ultimately, we see young men and women who will come out of New Covenant Christian Academy and sow into this community, into this region, and into the world. We are raising up world leaders. We are raising up world changers. Sometimes I just look at the whole thing and think of where we started and where we are now. And in some days it just seems really overwhelming. But then you think about what it really is. It's transformation. It's transforming the community one child at a time. That boy on the seashore was told, I can't save them all, but I can save some. I look at our community, and we can't maybe help everybody, but we can help some. We can help that one. And that one will help another, who will help another, who will help another, and the world is changed and the world is transformed for the better. So thank you. Thank you so much for your prayers and your support, and God bless you.